All right, guys, welcome to Behind the Shot. It's a Friday, so yes, Chum, it is TGIF. That's such a '90s reference. Thank goodness it's Friday, and yeah. So the first comment that I saw was from Sonny Thakur, Sonny, and he was being cheeky and saying that it's Noel 5 p.m. na, and yes, I do, and oh, Miguel is there. Miguel Nasanceno is here also. So that's cool. Wow, there's a YouTube party happening. So Sonny, I was saying that Sonny, I was saying that that Carmen said that you couldn't make it. So I was feeling bad and slightly happy kanina, and then suddenly I saw you being cheeky here in the comments. So hi, Sonny. Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Shot. For those of you who are new to the show, Behind the Shot is where top visual storytellers share their best three shots and the stories behind them. Behind the Shot is brought to you by Deity and Deity microphones like what I'm using now. Thank you, Deity, for sponsoring a small show like myself. A show that obviously, as you can see from the first 10 minutes, is amateur hour. I was not able to turn on my mic, but you know, and yes, so this is our, I think, sixth or seventh week now. This is our week for travel. We are partnering with Grid Magazine and the fantastic people. I didn't even believe that when I said it. But with these creative guys from Grid. So let me backtrack a bit and show you what we had lined up for this week, right? We have so many Del Prados, Carmen, on in the comments. So wow, thank you for bringing the party to YouTube, right? Okay, so Grid Travel and Adventure Week. We have Paco Guerrero. We had Paco Guerrero last Monday, and then we had Miguel Nakyan Keno and Sonny Thakur last Wednesday. I don't know why we featured them, but the episode actually went on for 1 hour and 48 minutes. That was ridiculously long, so long in fact that the light was fading from the webcam of Mr. Thakur. So that was pretty hilarious. And yeah, so that's what we have been doing. My name is Noel Guevara. I'm a conservation and wildlife photographer and filmmaker. You can check out my work on Instagram, Noel Guevara Photo. It's right there if you want some context as to why this guy is hosting a Behind the Shot show. And Behind the Shot is one of the shows that I have here in on YouTube. And I have other shows also. I have a gear review show. I have a tutorial show. All of them are really geared towards conservation, to be honest. I just use them as platforms where, I could, let's say, do a gear review of a lens, but in the context of taking photos of polar bears. And then I share, their, conservation status and so on. And that's how I try to do it. So if this is something that you like, or you're into conservation, you like sharks, you like polar bears, please do like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. It goes a long way. Again, as I always say, that's my usual line. It goes a long way in supporting not only the show but the artists that we feature, and I think that is important. I think it's the duty of everyone to help everyone in the community. So if it means featuring these artists, showing their work and showing their work ethics, their processes, their process, it's great, right? And especially now that everyone's kind of feeling low, down because of the pandemic and COVID-19. We have that, so we gotta stick together. So please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we are also live on Facebook. So we are doing a simulcast, but the Facebook stream is really just a teaser. So if you want to join the party in YouTube, we're here. We're all here, and we have a lot of people here, mostly Del Prados, and yeah, join us there. I'll be cutting the Facebook stream probably before the third or fourth set of photos or videos, but I will let you know. So don't worry. If you're more comfortable there, then stay put, and then let's do the transition later. Also, I would have to say that we also have a great week next week. So thank God it's Friday. It's going to be a weekend, but I'm also looking forward to next week. Next week, let me cue it up. We have a partnership with Lupon ng Pilipinong Cinematograpo. Basically, are the guild for cinematographers here in the Philippines, and we have the powerhouse of talent. We have Pong Ignacio on Monday. Pong is a very good friend. He is a cinematographer. His work includes General Luna and Goyo, and he also worked on Liway. And when I was doing my commercials, back when I was still a television commercial director, I was always working with Pong. So we were working on materials for Head and Shoulders, for Burger King, and so on. And, we're good friends, and it's great to start the week with him. And then on Wednesday, we also have Take Lamore. She is a cinematographer, and she worked on Kingmaker, that documentary on Imelda Marcos. And she also shot that television commercial of Globe with Star Wars. That was pretty cool. The last one, the latest one, the one where you have these two kids just going around like if in a treasure hunt of sorts, and a scavenger hunt of sorts, and we're gonna have her on the show. And of course, for Friday, we will have the King of Star Cinema. You have Dan Villegas. I can't even start. No, where I don't know where to begin. He has a lot of work. He usually works with his fiance, Tonette Hadaone, and yeah, it would be good to have his perspective also to cap the week next week. So it's going to be film next week. Then after that, we will finish the season, I would say, with portrait photographers Shaira Luna, Artu Nepomuceno, and then finally Jason Kibilan. I find it interesting that we will have Jason Kibilan on our last day for the season, because Jason Kibilan, if you do not know, he shot this really famous set of portraits of President Duterte back in 2014, I think, 2014, before he became president. And, I would like to hear his thoughts on that now, 4 years, 5 years later. So that'll be pretty cool. And I also want to thank everyone. Before I bring out my guest, I want to thank everyone who watched my show by guesting yesterday with James Deacon. So James Deacon invited me to guest in his show yesterday, and is Tito Clock. And a lot of people watched. I talked about conservation. Also, I talked about sharks. I talked about polar bears. It's pretty cool. It was a good hour, didn't feel like an hour. And there were so many people there. And one thing I noticed was that they had a name for the people who watched the show. So you have Tito Clockers for the Tito Clock show. And I realized I don't have one for Behind the Shot. It's just so convenient, though, that Behind the Shot has BTS, that is ridiculously synonymous to the K-pop group. But, I will not take it any further. So if you guys have any ideas, this is the perfect time to crowdsource. If you guys have any ideas on what I should call the people who watch Behind the Shot, you guys who have been supporting us from the start, or you guys who are just joining now, let me know. I'll use it. And you know what? I might give out probably a print to someone who has the best one. Let's do that. Let's make it official. Give me, suggest a name for the group of people who watch Behind the Shot. I'll probably start using it as soon as possible, or maybe in season 2. And if I really like it, I will send a print your way, probably of an elephant or a polar bear. So yeah, let me know. So put it in the comments, and let's see. There you go. Okay, so we have some people here. VJ Villafranca is watching, and he's suggesting Shatings. Pare naman. Okay, and then we have Miguel Del Prado. We have Sonny Thakur clamoring for the head of Carmen. And then Sonny, just be glad they actually put you on the show. I was planning not to. It's just gonna be Miguel and me. No, he was there, but I didn't want to activate his. And then Yvette Kim is here. David Uchiat. Did I pronounce that correctly? Miguel, Ramon Del Prado, and Angelica Misa. Okay, cool. Right, let's do it. So let us introduce our guests. No, our guest, sorry. My next guest is more than just a photographer and a fashion filmmaker. She's a visual storyteller with the ability to capture a scene or moment, a living thing or a person in its most organic state. And I have to attest to this after seeing the work that she has submitted or she has done for Grid previously. And yes, that is true. And I really, really like this last part. Sorry, no, yeah. Inspired by nature and the energy of her hometown in Visayas, her works come alive as each reflects her passion for documentary, fashion, and adventure. Sunny, this is how you write an intro. No, it's not about cheeses. So there. So, should I call you guys BTS gang for now? BTS gang, please welcome Carmen del Prado. There you go.
Woo!
So,
Hi guys.
hey guys. So, Carmen, you have a lot of, let's say, fans here.
Maybe
Most of them are
my
Del
whole family.
Prado. I'm sure. Del Prado.
I think they miss me.
They're all based in your hometown of Dumaguete, right? Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
most of them. Yes.
Right. Okay, so let's
Some of them.
start by asking you how you met Sunny, Miguel, and Paco.
I guess I could start with how I met Paco because he's the first one I met.
Okay.
I was currently living in Dumaguete in 2014,
Right.
and a friend of mine, Yvette Kim, who teaches in Silliman University with my brother Ramon at the time, they told me that there's a guest photographer coming into town, and his name is Paco Guerrero, and I was like, oh my God, Paco! I watched his show. He had a show at the time. It was
He has
I
a
think
show?
What I See. He had a show, yeah, What I See.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And I was like, I love his work. I really want to meet him. So that's what happened. I sat in one of his shoots I think they were shooting Grid issue number 2 about
Okay.
Dumaguete, which I have here.
Wow, naghanda ng props, ah. Nice. Okay.
And so I forced my way. I invited myself to visit the school and meet Paco there.
Okay.
And I guess the rest was history. Like,
So
I
how
was
was
like,
Paco
Paco
naman?
can...
Was he nice? Was he
He-
like composed?
He was really nice, yeah. Is he listening?
I'm waiting for him to come out because when I met Paco, we had coffee. We never met before, and then
Yeah.
I think we planned coffee, and then we sat down. The first thing he told me was like, Noel, full disclosure, I'm a Sony ambassador. That's the first thing he told me.
Wow,
It's like he set the
taray.
tone. Daloko lang. Paco, I'm kidding, but he did say that somewhere in the conversation. He just casually inserted it. So I will never forget that moment with Paco. So, Carmen, I'm curious. How did you get started? Because what would you consider your primary sort of discipline? Is it photography or video?
I'd say video. I started with video first.
Okay. So how was
And
that creative journey? Can you illustrate that for us?
actually, originally I was studying to be an animator, and then I fell in love slowly with film and photography
Okay.
as a hobby.
Right.
And from there, it just kept growing and growing. My dad is actually a photographer also, so growing up, we were always surrounded by him taking photos of us.
Right.
And I guess it rubbed on me a little, and I started getting inspired by shooting friends and family, and then eventually started shooting for brands.
Okay.
And at the time that I had met Paco, I had moved back to Dumaguete after taking up college in Manila. And I was training to be a dive instructor. I was already thinking of switching professions and thinking I'd live in Dumaguete.
Uh-huh.
But when I met Paco, I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to tell stories with photos. I want to do what Grid does. So, and then I moved back to Manila. He
Again.
invited me to the first,
Okay.
I think, Grid event, and that's where I met Sonny and Mignac and all the Grid teams. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So Mignac, did you work with him in one of your assignments with Grid and Sunny?
Yes, actually. I worked. The first one was with Paco, and then the second one was with Mignac. And I think the photo that I'll be sharing is with Mignac.
Okay. I heard daw mahirap daw katrabaho si Sunny. Parang medyo diva daw. Like he complains a lot daw, sabi ni Paco. I don't know pa ako din say that.
Sometimes. Joke lang.
Okay, Sunny is saying, actually now, I just wanted to prod and I thought Sunny disappeared and I thought he felt like offended with what I said. But he just asked her about her first calling card.
No!
What
He
is
still
it?
has it. No. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, alright. Sunny, hindi daw. Mamaya na lang pag off-air na.
He always teases me about it, so
Really? Now
I
I'm
guess I was
curious.
still figuring out what I wanted to be, and
Now I'm super curious now kung ano yung card na yun. Okay, sige. So in the meantime, before we get to that, right. Okay, so before we get to that, I'd like to invite you guys to, of course, visit Instagram. If you are there, you have an account, check out Carmen del Prado and, of course, follow her and check out her amazing work. So we will show you some stuff right now, and we're going to let her set it up for us. So the first, I would say, first set, Carmen, this is in Taal Lake, right? And
Yeah.
sort of give us the lowdown on this project. Go for it.
is it there now?
There you go. Sige.
So this is one of my first or earlier projects with Grid Magazine.
Mhm.
And I was shooting video with Laika Gonzalez, who's also a filmmaker at Grid.
Okay.
And Miguel Nascenteno was the photographer, and Froline was the writer for this project. And
Okay.
it was a partnership with Globe, and we were working with an NGO to tell the story of their program in the lake, in Taal Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about I think the conservation of the quality of the lake water, the fisheries, and the community, working with the community. This is one of my favorite shots because I remember this was the first day that we were there. We were there for 4 days,
Okay.
and we were so scared because this storm cloud started appearing out of nowhere, and we were like, okay, that's it. All our shots are ruined. Let's go back home. Let's stop the shoot. But like lo and behold, like at the end of the day, towards sunset, the storm had passed by and revealed like this amazing color that you see right now.
Was this
And,
morning or was this
It was in the afternoon.
Afternoon. Okay.
Towards the afternoon. So it was just amazing. I remember all of us were like just staring, at the colors that were coming out, and then we saw fishermen in the distance. So we
Right.
decided, okay, what's happening over there?
Okay.
And we started. We got to know them. We got to ask what they were doing and what they were fishing. They're
Mhm.
also fishing the tawilis,
Okay.
which is the small fish that's known in Taal.
Okay.
And so we got to know them better. And I think that's the approach that I like about working with Grid, is that we get to know a subject. It's not about just shooting them and leaving.
Mhm.
It's about like spending time with your subjects and getting to know them. And that's also why I feel like you get more intimate shots when you do this.
Okay.
When you spend time, and you can go to the next shot.
Okay. Well, sorry to clarify for
Sorry, go
context.
ahead.
Is Tawilis here farmed or it's it's wild?
I think it's wild, and then eventually they started farming it when it became a delicacy.
Okay. Okay. And then what method of fishing are they using here?
Here they're using spearfisher. These are spearfisher.
Okay. All right.
But I know they also have the fish nets and
Mhm.
the fish cages. So this is one of the fishermen that we met that day, and again, it was the same way of shooting. We weren't able to get this close if we didn't get to talk to them and get
Right.
to know them. And I think this was shot with an 85 millimeter lens.
Your favorite focal length, I heard.
One of my favorite focal
Right.
lengths, yes. And I actually only shoot in primes
Mhm.
because I suck at shooting wide. I think Sonny and Paco know that.
Okay.
So it just allows me to get closer to the subject and
Okay.
get a bit more personal with them, which I like.
Okay.
And so this is one of my favorite shots. It was also a screen grab from one of the video shots that we
videos.
did.
Okay, so for this project, you were doing video, or were you dabbling in photo also?
I was doing video with like Gonzalez,
Okay.
and Mignac was actually doing the photos. But I do like to take some sneaky photo shots also as well. Just
Okay, that's cool.
yeah.
Okay, so I have encountered some students no, that want to get into
Yeah.
this sort of documentary photography, and one
Yeah.
thing kasi that they always say that their biggest hurdle is trying to connect. Actually, not even connect, just going up to these subjects, to these people, and sort of creating that bond, not a bond, connection or relationship with them
Yeah.
before they can take their photos or craft a story around it. So is that was that a problem for you, or are you the type you're not necessarily an introvert, you're more of an extrovert, and it just worked out?
I like I guess you could call me an introvert extrovert, but I do like talking with people, and um I do like I of course when I approach the subject, well, but before I take them I ask their permission if it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then you start talking with them, and then they start actually in the beginning they're hesitant. And if
Mm-hmm.
you find that you kind of read the body language, and if they're uncomfortable, then I don't think you should take their photo, get to know them more, and then eventually they'll get bored with you. They'll get bored with you with your camera, and then they'll just be comfortable with you, and that's when you take the shot.
Okay, so they
But
sort
of
of
course, I'd
acclimate
always
na.
ask. Yeah, I always ask permission first. If they say no,
Huh, interesting.
then don't take it. Yeah,
Okay, interesting because we had Jilson Chu also here, and then his
yeah,
process was he doesn't want to ask questions because it sort of breaks, the how
mm-hmm.
organic everything is. But you do.
Yeah,
So do
yeah.
you feel that affects the way your photos or the situation is presented?
I guess the approach is different, but it doesn't necessarily change the story so much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe it would change if I told him to be at a completely different spot
Okay.
than where he was. So
Okay. We have a question here from the
sure.
noble Paco de Guerrero. Okay, so guys,
Hi, Paco.
Paco, you're late. I was making a
He
joke
didn't
with
hear
you.
our
Yeah, he
story
didn't hear
about
the story
Paco.
about how I met you. So if you want me to repeat it, Paco, I can. Although it's completely irrelevant now. Okay, so guys, this Behind the Shot is essentially an instructional show. So if you have any questions for Carmen, please put them in the comments, and she will try her best to answer them. Okay, from Paco Guerrero. As a woman, do you think your dynamic with subjects and access is different? If so, in what way? Oh my God, throwing the heavy
I think
questions.
no, we had this conversation before with Paco. He was
Okay.
complaining how why is it so much easier when women approach this subject than it is for us guys? And then I think we were laughing because here's this big guy with a camera, and here I am with a tiny girl with a
Right.
camera. But I think the approach is, I guess, the advantage is that it's sort of an advantage because it allows you to how do you say this, like it feels like a friendlier approach, a more motherly approach.
Hindi ka
Sorry,
masungit ka
Paco.
daw pa masungit ka daw kasi pa ako. No, actually that's interesting because I've always wondered that if I approach the same subject, will he give me
Yeah.
the same story that you got,
Mm,
right? It
yeah,
may not necessarily be better. It could be different because I'm a
I think so.
guy, diba? And then you're a girl. So
Hmm.
I guess I would like to ask that question to you, and if Paco is watching, does that matter, Paco, if and Carmen, if the subject that you are approaching, let's say this fisherman, uh, does it matter when you're sent on assignment or you give an assignment? Oh, let's send Miguel because they will react differently, or Carmen if I wonder if that's a
I don't think
consideration.
I don't think it should matter, but it's um I guess it's the way you approach,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's what I've learned in a lot of the grids, and that's what grid has taught me actually. The approach of shooting strangers. It's not just to shoot and run.
Hmm.
It's to get to know the subject,
Right. You have to
to
embed
spend time with
talaga.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now,
And that's one thing that I actually carry on in a lot of my other shoots.
okay. And how long have you been working with Grid?
I got my first project with them in 2015, so 5 years.
5 years.
I met
Okay.
Paco in 2014. Yeah, five
Okay.
years.
I have a question here. What about what's this? When you're now that you've done so much work in terms of documentaries and travel, Do you feel like you have an elevated sense of awareness now when you go out and as compared to say, someone, a regular Joe just going out with a camera, and then as compared to you, do you see things differently now as opposed to before?
In terms of,
Just awareness
sorry,
in general. Yeah.
awareness.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like even the way I see things now is differently. I feel like um, Paco always calls me shiny.
Shiny. Interesting. Okay.
Because he feels like, but I feel like it's also an advantage because I get distracted by everything in a good way.
Right. Okay.
So I guess you can say my senses have heightened. It's
Okay.
not just about taking a shot; it's about feeling your senses when you take the shot. So it's about making you feel like you're there.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So when you're taking the shot, you're thinking about your five senses.
that's true. And I'm sure it's also transformative for you. Everything that you learn,
Super, yeah.
Yeah. We have a
I feel
question.
like,
Yeah, go ahead.
yep, sorry. Go
You
ahead.
feel like?
Since shooting with grid, I feel like my eye changed. If that makes sense.
Yeah, parang may bumukas yung mata mo, parang ganun.
Oo.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Okay, another question from VJ Villafranca.
VJ.
Would you encourage women to pursue documentary photography? If yes, how can you encourage them? That's a really good question.
Documentary photography in terms of photojournalism or photo essay
I think he's speaking generally.
generally. Yeah, I totally encourage it. I mean, there's also that safety issue, like being a woman, right? Being a woman and traveling out. I guess a tip there is just to do your research beforehand.
Right.
Do your research. Make sure that the places you're going to, the cultural differences. Be aware, as you said. Be aware of your surroundings. I think that women have a different sense of color when they see an image or they see a picture. It's not just blue; it's teal, or at least that's how I think. And I feel like women have a different sense of color scheme and light, and they see the world differently. So if you can go out and shoot documentary, I say go for it.
Okay, that's a nice
And I feel
analogy.
like what Paco also said, like you may have access to other stories that maybe men sorry don't necessarily get the access
Yeah,
to.
yeah, I get you. I get you. VJ is clarifying now, so let me repeat his question. And then, so what he asked was, would you encourage women to pursue documentary photography? If yes, how can you encourage them? In terms of photo essay and covering different topics. So I think you nailed it in the head there. Uh, is that correct, VJ? Is that what you were asking? Let me know. Okay, and then let's get to the technicals, Muna, Carmen, before we
Yeah.
proceed. What kind of gear do you use? Is there a favorite lens, a favorite camera?
So I was a former Sony ambassador for 2 years. But
Okay.
prior to that, I was a big fan. I am a big fan of using Sony cameras, the light mirrorless
Okay.
gear. So I use my current setup is an A7 Mark III, and I use a 55 millimeter and a 35 and an 85. So I
35,
mostly shoot
85.
in prime. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So you shoot at 35, 85, and 55. That's it.
Yeah.
Both for photo and video.
Yeah.
Nice. That's interesting. Okay.
I'm not a fan of the zoom, and I'm not good at wide, so I stay out of it.
Okay, that's cool. Because when we were having that episode with Paco, I had that segment with him just talking about how he traveled with just one lens of 55. So that was really interesting. And it's good to know that someone has actually translated that to their work. You have 35, you have 55 and 85. And it's not just a, casual exercise. Okay.
I would actually also give the same tip to master at least one lens.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could travel with just that one lens, then that's all you need.
So when you travel, which one of the three primes would you use? If you just had to pick one.
Mostly if it was to travel with, maybe the 55, actually.
Okay. Why?
It's lightweight and it can give you both a portrait lens and if you use it well, a landscape lens.
Right. Okay. And then do you use other primes as well to sort of like expand your I guess your quiver of lenses?
I love using the one of my favorite lenses right now is the 35 1.4 of
Mm-hmm.
Voigtlander.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing why I like Sony is because it's versatile. You can use different kinds of lenses. It's a
Okay.
manual lens actually, the Voigtlander, which I
Nice.
was inspired because Sony had it one day and I was like, I fell in love with it.
Okay. Cool. We have so many questions here right now. Paco is saying that Carmen was the editor of the Grid We Will Travel Again video. So that was beautiful, Carmen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
and the beautiful voiceover. Okay, so let's move to the to the second photo set from Carmen, and okay, this is really beautiful. I have to say, you have a knack for what you call outdoor portraits. So where did that come from, and is that something that you consider and that you specialize on?
I love shooting outdoors, and I guess I just combined both of my passions, which is shooting portraits and shooting outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, it's a personal project in the process. I really do want to show this sort of connection that we humans have to nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always been sort of, I guess you could say, my thing, shooting portraits outdoors. And I love shooting women as well.
Right.
So this portrait actually, aside from doing work for Grid, I also do commission-based projects and collaborations with other women, mostly mothers, and sometimes models as well. This one was in Hulugan Falls in Laguna, and this is
So
Marielle. She's
nice. So
an
nice.
amazing mother, and that's her her son Satori Balu, and she's just this really awesome outdoorsy, all around mom who does yoga and holistic living, and she's almost this modern day Amazona, I'd say.
Really? Wow, that's an interesting
And I
description.
remember having even to catch up with her during this hike because she had her son on her back the whole time. It was
Okay.
about an hour and a half hike
Wow.
into Hulugan Falls. It's if you go back to the previous photo, she had to swim to that rock to get to that rock. And
Wow.
I'm an outdoor person myself, but to swim with her child in her back and to catch that sunlight just as it had left. So we were actually in a cove.
Okay.
Hulugan Falls is in a cove,
Okay.
and this is around 4 or 5, and the sun was setting. The sun
Okay.
was setting really fast, and we were like, Marielle, look, there's a perfect spot on that rock. If you can get there, it'll be a beautiful photo. So she was like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it, and she did it without any
Wow.
with ease. Yeah,
So this
I
is
say
not
like
for Grid, right?
it's not for Grid,
Okay.
but I think it was featured in one of the issues.
Okay. This is commissioned work.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you approach commissioned work like this one? Do you when you talk to Marielle, you had a location in mind already, or did you
Yeah,
ocular?
we collaborate and
Okay.
we think of places.
Okay.
And what I like about shooting women outdoors is I like it's very empowering shooting women. There's a sort of strength that empowers other women when you're shooting. Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And I feel like it's beautiful to show you can be strong and still be a
Yes.
mom and still have a family and still be beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
the concept for this one. And if you go to the next photo, this is why we chose this the leaves that sort of framed her.
Right.
It's
And I'm
the
sure
soft
the son is
leaves
also
next to the rock.
Satori is also taking after his mom. No,
Yeah, for sure.
right? I love how the kid Satori is not wearing any shoes, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. No, that's super cool. And
This
he
is shot
swam
actually
also.
under a cave. Yeah, and he was next to his mom. And this is
Galing.
taken under a cave. It was just all pure natural light for this one.
Okay, we have a question here. Uh, if you have no sunlight, from Tara de la Rama, if you have no sunlight, what advice can you give for shots?
This was actually after the sun had set. The previous photo at the back.
This one.
Can you move back a bit? This is actually, so the next one, sorry.
This one.
After the sun had left, this is the actual image.
Okay.
So I feel like it even softens it even more. And we were taking it under a cave.
Right.
So the light that came in was just very
okay.
soft.
Super diffused na. Okay. But if you have no sunlight, you wouldn't shoot, right? You wouldn't schedule the shoot then. No. So do you normally schedule your shoots at dusk, a golden hour? Do you have this?
Yeah, always working. Our golden hours are so short, so
right.
It's really challenging.
Okay. So all your commission shots, you try to have them scheduled during either early in the morning, right after
you always
sunrise.
leave early morning.
Okay.
Depends also on the location.
Okay. Miguel na Quianceno. Carmen, on assignment, do you feel comfortable shooting both videos and photos at the same time, or would you prefer to work with one medium at a time?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Because every time I shoot video, I wish I was shooting photo. But I do. I think it's best to concentrate on one.
Yeah.
Because there's some aspects that you miss in video that, let's say, you took on photo.
Right.
And I think that's why when we shoot with grid, it's always one photo, one video.
Okay, makes sense. It's interesting because when we do underwater also, we have to make a choice, because I do photo and video as well. We have to make a choice. My friend Boogs would always ask me, hey, I'm going to wherever, to Mexico. Should I shoot photo or video, or should I bring both? I was like, in as much as you could be skilled on both, there's a warm-up period kasi, diba? So like sort of when you get in the water or you start shooting, if you've been using video and then suddenly shoot photo, it doesn't necessarily translate immediately. So you have to sort of does that happen with you?
And your focus is split.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
So
that's
the
true.
story that you may have wanted on video, you may have gotten on photo, and when you're sitting on the editing desk, it's like, I didn't take that video because I was shooting photo at the time.
Right. More regrets ba?
So it happens, yeah. But I do, if I do shoot with video with grid, I try to take behind the scenes of the team.
Okay, that's
cool. For me, yeah.
Okay. From Angelica Misa, you have a certain style, Carmen. I love it. But how do you separate your own style and the preference of your clients for your other work, especially if it's so different?
So when I was a younger photographer, or when I was starting out, I would have to try all the different kinds of styles that I felt wasn't me, but I still tried it out anyway because I was still trying to, I guess, get into the industry. But lately, I try to work with brands that understand the style that I like to do. Angelica Misa, actually, I work with her for her local brand. She owns a WVN Home.
Okay.
So, Kylie, I'm not used to calling her Angelica. It's like, who's that? Kidding. But I try to always meet in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
If that's possible.
Right. It
so
can't be completely
it also depends.
their aesthetic then, because you have to have your own as well in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you'd agree as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And let's say the work that I do commercially, I don't necessarily put it as my portfolio.
Okay, I see. Yeah, it's one way when I work with clients, I usually consider their whatever they want as the direction, and whatever I put into it as my interpretation. So that's just how I try
meet
to
in the middle.
Yeah, compartmentalize it so that it doesn't drive me crazy, right? Okay. We have Nina Unlay is here also. Mixer saying,
hi, Nina.
I love these stories. The photo becomes so much more alive. Wow. Wait until you get the video. Would you say, Carmen, that one skill helped you sort of sharpen the other? Like the fact that you can shoot photos really well makes you a better, let's say, cinematographer, for example.
I think that because when you're shooting video, you're thinking in different kinds of frames.
Okay.
You're shooting in establishing, you're shooting in wide. So establishing is getting to know the place, and then as you go closer into the little details, a tighter shot.
Right.
I thought that also helped me in telling stories photo-wise, photo
Okay.
essays,
Yeah.
and taking photo essays. So I feel like they go hand in hand, even when you're trying to take a photo and have, let's say, the story all in one shot, or
Okay.
the emotions all in one shot.
Okay.
That sometimes you can't necessarily get it on video unless you had music, unless you set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely learned a lot of. I think it's a symbiotic relationship.
That's true. Okay, so you're saying that you took the narrative structure of video, and then you use it, interpret it with photo. So you took. Do you?
Yes.
Which that brings me to my next question. Do you create shot lists? Do you storyboard? How do you
Yes.
approach these projects?
If it's a commercial-based project, I do my own storyboarding.
Okay.
I think of a shot, or if I'm inspired by the music that's given, the story comes from there.
Okay.
But usually, if it's a photo shoot, I barely have a shot list.
Really?
Maybe just a guideline.
Okay.
But
That's
for
interesting.
video, it's usually like a little bit more prepared.
Okay. Okay. Of course. And then with grid, how long are the assignments usually? 5 days,
I think the
9 days.
longest, yeah, 4 to 9 days. The
Okay.
longest was 9 days.
Okay. And you get to go with Paco and his more opulent assignments, no?
Yeah,
Okay. So, guys,
luckily.
you are watching Behind the Shot, and those who are joining us, the number of viewers are just really increasing right now. So, welcome to Behind the Shot, where top visual storytellers like Carmen share their favorite photos and videos and the great stories behind them. So, please do like this video if you like it, and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and then head on over to Instagram, check out our profiles. Carmen's actually is more important. Yeah, that's cool. I should do that too. Okay, there you go. Check us out there so you can have more context of where we're coming from in terms of perspective. So we're now moving to the third set of photos that Carmen sent over, and this is you used. It's interesting because for this one, you used a Voigtlander lens. Is that
Yes,
correct? Okay.
I only brought one lens for this trip, and
Nice.
so this trip, or it was also a project that the people I'd met on that project also worked with grid, and that's David Ruichiat and Nicolas Sebastian, who was the writer.
Okay.
So we were photographing and documenting Family Farm Inc., which is
Okay.
based in Bacolod. It's a private corporation based in Bacolod that supports rice farmers across Negros Island.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time in Bacolod, we were there for about a week documenting about 5 family farms. And this is one of the most interesting ones that we came across, which is this is a photo of Romeo. I think his name is Romeo,
Mm-hmm.
and he owned a rice farm in Kabangkalan.
Okay. And what makes this story interesting? What was the conflict that was in the story?
What made the story super interesting is that he had to cross at least 4 rivers to get to his own farm,
4 rivers.
and that meant us crossing the rivers with him to get to his farm.
And this is not just
So
like
this is
a
all.
stream. It's like you have to get into a
Yes,
bangka
you have
and
to get
cross.
into a boat,
Wow. Okay.
and it was. If you go to the next photo, this is one of the boats that we had to ride to get to his farm, and we were about 4, a team of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were getting into the boat, he mentioned that the deep side of the rivers had crocodiles still. It was just so we were all panicking,
Wow.
we're all
Okay.
freaking out. But it's also interesting because I never thought it was also exploring my hometown, which is Negros
Yeah.
Island. So these are places that I never thought I'd go to. And the portrait earlier was when we had. So if you move back a bit, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is also with the Voigtlander as well.
Super
And
nice.
this is after we had gotten to get to know him a bit more.
Okay. We have a from David. He said we almost sank.
Yeah, so we were sinking in the boat actually.
Why? Too many people.
Too many people.
Okay. All right. But why is that though? For the benefit of the viewers, why does he
Yeah.
have to cross so many rivers? Why wasn't he just staying where he
So
was farming?
the particular land that he had owned is in a valley that was surrounded by mountains.
Okay.
It's either you cross the mountain or you cross the river.
Okay.
So it was easier, much easier to cross the river.
And how long did it take him to get from his home to his farm?
Um, to him, it was probably like 30 minutes. When we were there, it was probably an hour and a half. We were trying to catch up with him. So the very first photo with the bamboo leaves that were framing him,
Uh-huh.
it was actually him waiting for us to catch up to him.
Bagal nyo daw. So it's you
Yeah,
catching up with Romeo and also kanina with Marielle. Okay. And then
so
this photo, the next one,
so I added this photo because it's also I like the intimacy of the shot because again, what I've learned from Grid is you have to get to know your subjects more, and this is one of the more intimate meetings that we had. Is once you get to know the subject a little bit more, they invite you to coffee, they invite you to eat with them, and that was something that I really appreciated when
Okay.
how Grid shoots.
How long did you spend with Romeo?
We were there for a whole day, but I think David communicates with them more often. David, the one who owns Family Farm thing.
Okay, I see. All right.
But for me and Nicola, we were there for about a whole day. And we actually told them that we'd come back to visit. This is one of the river settings that we had to cross.
It's not an easy cross pala, no? It
wasn't. There was
it's a
no path. There was barely a path.
Okay. So
And he was chopping the path as we were walking.
but he goes to the farm almost every day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a trip, huh?
And they deliver their rice to Bacolod, which is about maybe 4 hours away from Kubangkalan. 3 to 4 hours.
Okay. So this one you were shooting photo, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then Nicola was writing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is actually a story that we've been wanting to pitch to Grid. So hopefully maybe soon.
Okay. We have a comment here. What does Grid mean? Sorry. So Grid is a magazine.
Yeah.
So bring out your copy, Carmen. So yeah. So
sorry guys.
okay, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Grid is a magazine. It's a very I would say made up of very intrepid characters, and and we've partnered with them this week because it's travel and adventure. Although they say they're not a travel magazine, but what I love about Grid is that the stories, they focused on the stories and the people, and then the travel and adventure sort of comes after that, and doesn't make it any less exciting. It actually makes it more. It resonates more with you, so that's why I like it. And you have people like Carmen, storytellers like Carmen, who are sort of the ones interpreting all these stories really really well. So yeah, Miguel, not everyone knows Grid. Okay, so
maybe Mig can add in the website somewhere.
yeah, you know what, Sige, Miguel, since you are the president, so you are the best president of Grid and of the solar system.
I think it's
best one
Grid Magazine PH, which you should actually add the Instagram account on the top.
Okay. Sige, Miguel, do it, Miguel. From Sally Snow, our Sally.
Hi, Sally.
The silly Sally. Sally actually is from Namave, and she's a very good friend. So is Alessandro Ponzo. So they're shark scientists basically. So large marine vertebrates.
I'm super inspired by their work.
She's so awesome.
In the Visayas, yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and Sally is a super. Yeah, no, I love Sally. Okay, so hi Carmen. When shooting people in nature, do you ever use artificial light? You light faces and subjects beautifully. If you don't use artificial lights, what are your top tips for working with nature? Wow, super layered comment. So if you want to focus on the first one, do you ever use artificial light?
I don't actually. I always work with natural light.
Okay.
And I guess timing is crucial. If it's 12 noon or if it's the light's too harsh, let's say around 11 to 2 p.m., I usually go under a shaded area. If it's completely outdoors, maybe a shaded area under a tree or a cave in the earlier photo with Marielle. If it's shooting with a beautiful magic hour, I just try to time it. So this shot was actually taken at 12 noon,
This
around
one
that
was
time,
at 12 noon. Doesn't
but
look like
under
it.
a shade of trees.
Okay. All right. So for the Instagram of Grid Magazine, just go Grid Magazine PH. And yeah, that is they're talking about which issue we were showing, Carmen. Okay. So yeah, so for everyone who are not aware, sorry, this is your first time to come on the show. Grid is that magazine, so pick it up. I don't know how though because everyone's on lockdown. You
I
can
know.
visit the website though of Grid and Miguel, time to put on your president's hat and put the the URL for the Grid website. So that would be cool. Okay, so let's move to the fourth set of photos. Uh, this one was done with it's a project with NatGeo, right? With Nicola. So Nicola actually is the
Nicholas
younger sister of
Sebastian.
Mia. Mia is my classmate in
Yes.
college, uh, and Hannah Reyes Morales.
Yes.
Okay, and this is a very
So
beautiful photo. So with loads of
a little
backstory.
background,
Yeah.
a little background on this project. So Nicola Sebastian, she received a grant from National Geographic to do research on the Verde Island Passage and the communities around it. So it was a mix of documenting the communities, the fishing communities, um, recreational sports like diving, and even commercial fishing
Mm-hmm.
around the area. And so this was taken about last year, I think. Oh no, 2 years ago in August or September.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in one of the fishing villages that we visited in Mindoro.
Okay.
And what's incredible about this photo is that we met her name is Marian Riva,
Maria Riva. Okay.
and we had spent the day in. It was actually a boat maker's village, and her father was one of the fishermen that we had interviewed. And we
Okay.
had seen a bunch of kids running around, and of course, Marian caught our eye, and we had seen, and I was like, Nicola, have you seen her eye? It's amazing. So Hannah, Nicola, and I were like just amazed at meeting this beautiful girl, Marian, who was so painfully shy. And a couple of the friends that she was with were actually kind of not like mocking her, but teasing her, telling us, "Look, she's shy because she has her one blue eye," and then we're like saying, "No, that's beautiful." Um, so she was feeling it more like it was a like she didn't feel beautiful.
Right.
It's painful to see, but as we got to know her, of course we didn't want to take her photo until she was comfortable with us, and so we had spent. I think we went back in the afternoon and gotten to know her more, gotten to be more comfortable. We were playing with the kids, and at that point, um, shooting with primes again, we had gotten to get closer to her, and that's what made us take this shot. And what's amazing is it wasn't just Marian that had the trait. I think the trait is called heterochromia,
Okay. So that's blue, right? I'm seeing
where
blue.
it's blue, yes.
Okay.
It's bright blue, and
Mm.
then her right eye is brown. What's amazing was that her aunt had the same traits too, and not just her aunt, her older sister, and her cousin.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And her aunt had two blue eyes,
Wow.
and so it was just amazing. And we were there with them. We're planning actually to go back and take a more formal portrait shot with her and her whole family.
Do you have photos of
But
the
I hope
aunt and all the rest of the family
I have
members?
photos of the aunt, yes, but I didn't get to submit it here.
Sayang. Sayang.
Yes,
Sayang. I want to see that with both eyes blue.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
So we have a
So
comment from Paco. Carmen, I think it's time for you to apply for a NatGeo grant. And
wow.
Kylie Misa is I second this. Miguel is yes. Ana del Prado is yes. Everyone's supporting. Sally is saying
Woo.
yes. You should apply for a NatGeo grant. So that's awesome. Yeah, you should. You should. So did
hopefully soon.
did Nicola apply for the what's that, the early career,
She
or
applied for the grant, and it was, I think the photos were featured on NatGeo Asia Instagram account. There was a takeover that was done
I
by Nicola,
remember that. Yeah, that was amazing.
and she shared photos by both Hannah and I.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. All right. So this is the last of our let's say Facebook sets, right? So for you guys who have just logged in, Behind the Shot is simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube, and this is the time where I invite everyone to head on over to YouTube because the party there is crazier. We have all the grid
Woo!
people there, and we have a lot of Del Prados there. Yeah, so please transfer to our YouTube account, and the link is there. I'll put it there, and then you can. Yeah, I will be terminating the Facebook stream, so I will see you on Facebook. So cool.
Yay!
All right. So now I will queue up the video. So it's like we move now to the last part, and this first video. Before I bring it out now, because once I bring it out, it starts playing. Can you set it up for us, Carmen?
Sure. So this video that I'm about to share is actually a trailer to the documentary that Papa and I co-directed, which is the Grid Expedition 2.
Okay.
And in the Grid Expedition 2, I think it was also about 9 days.
Okay.
And it was one of my favorite grid projects. And it was special because it meant exploring another part of my hometown,
Okay.
which I was so familiar with, but then at the same time not. We were traveling with three marine scientists, Rene Huntrial, Rene Abisamis, and Sarah Brina, who's also a free diver, and Christine Fonacher, who is the writer, and Sonny, who is the photographer with us.
Okay.
So it was about marine conservation in the Visayas.
Okay. Again, so that we just don't miss out on this, can you tell us more about what grid expeditions are?
So grid expeditions are is when the grid team travels with scientists,
Mm-hmm.
and we explore ways of the country's conservation programs, and it's just getting to know the place with the scientists as the storytellers.
Right, and it's
And
always
it's also
conservation.
working with communities.
It's
Yes.
always conservation. Okay.
For the first two so far. The first one was with JP Alipio,
Mhm.
and it was for the Cordillera Conservation Program in Cordillera.
Okay. Let's
So
watch
this
the
one
video.
was, first one was in the mountains, and the second one is in the
In
sea,
the ocean. Cool. All right.
in the
Let's
ocean.
watch it.
On marine protected areas in the
I'm not sure if
country.
there's audio.
They have followed our example. And so there are now probably 1,500 marine
I think
protected
there's no
areas
audio.
in the country.
There's none. There isn't one.
Okay.
The first main objective of establishing this marine sanctuary is just to reproduce more fish for fishermen. Tourism is not part of the objectives of establishing this thing, but it just right on. So why not?
We need visitors and we need guests to provide the livelihood, to keep the economy going so that these values can be received by the community and all the people in the industry. Everyone should be involved.
Wow. Cool. So where can they watch this video?
You can head over to the Grid YouTube page, actually.
It's
It's
there.
a 4-part series,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
and
I saw
it's-
that. I remember that. Okay. And
So talk
your
about-
role there was you co-directed it and you shot it.
With Paco. Yes. So we're both shooting, and we also both edited the video.
Okay.
And it's basically it's about marine conservation, and it goes hand in hand with tourism and working with communities.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because conservation in the Philippines is not like closed park in, like, let's say, abroad.
Okay.
They really rely on the communities to conserve and protect the area.
Okay.
I think that's what makes the Philippines unique in terms of conservation.
Mm-hmm. How much work went into this project before you guys launched it?
I believe Paco and Christine were working on a storyline and an angle before we actually went on the expedition. So it always starts with the writer and Paco, who was producing as well.
Okay.
And then we tapped in the marine scientists, to come on board.
Okay. So how do you guys choose these expeditions? How do you choose the focus? So you had with JP for Cordilleras, and then you have this one. How does Grid choose these assignments or these expeditions?
I believe it started as a pitch. I think the first one was a pitch by JP, and then eventually it's become almost like a Grid passion project, working with conservation, and hopefully there's going to be a third one soon.
Yeah.
And
there should be. Actually, Sally, if you're watching, I was telling Paco that we should do
Sally!
one for your shark
Lamave.
expedition. So I was part of that on the 2017, the Shark Expedition 3, I think. So maybe if you have another
That would be
one, Sally,
amazing.
that'll be an awesome pitch. I'm pitching it now, Miguel, Mr. President, and Paco, and Carmen. I'm pitching that now. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Okay, now, before I show the last video, Carmen, I want to sort of touch on this this sort of prevailing issue that a lot of our colleagues are experiencing right now. No? So because of the lockdown and COVID, everyone's affected. People are selling gear. People are, sort of crying for work. How does this affect you as a filmmaker, as a photographer, given that your work normally takes you out?
It's actually been quite hard. It's hard to stay motivated, but I've been trying to set small goals, no matter how small. Like, I want to plant this plant, or I want to learn something new online, or read a book. But in terms of work, I've had to adapt a bit during this situation. I guess like everyone.
Okay.
I've been shooting a lot more product shoots, which I don't normally do.
Okay.
So I think that at least there's that, but it's definitely been hard. I'm not gonna lie, but trying to keep motivated, like watching your show.
Thank you. I'm gonna use James Deacon's question to me yesterday, which was apropos for this one. How do you keep your head above water, considering everything? That was a really well phrased question from Mr. Deacon.
Breathe.
Okay.
As cliche as it sounds, keep breathing. Meditation has helped me a lot as well, even if it's just about breathing exercises or taking a moment to just be aware,
Right.
be grounded, and be mindful. I hope I don't sound so hippie,
No.
but
I think what people tend to forget is that I guess
people tend to forget to breathe.
Yeah, parang people think kasi na they have to be productive even during the COVID. Yes, of course, if you have to make a living, but there is a certain pressure, that society has put when you see the feed on Facebook, everyone's baking,
For
but
sure.
there's always a result a product. But I like what you're saying, which is that you focus on yourself first, right?
And I feel like I've actually also jumped into that banana bread bandwagon also.
Not really.
I started baking also, but anything to keep us afloat, I think.
Right.
And it's okay not to feel motivated. I think this time is about taking care of yourself, your sanity, your mental health, especially.
Yeah,
So,
but you can't shoot if you're not, zoned in.
for sure.
Right. So there you have it, guys. For those who have been feeling the pressure, between a rock and a hard place, everyone's feeling it. Even Carmen is feeling it. I am feeling it. And please don't lose hope. I think that's one of the most important things. If you have to do something drastic because, you have to put food on the table, then do so. I've said this so many times, and Jason Macbuano said it in his episode. If you have to sell that gear, do it, because you can always buy it after. And maybe after when you decide to buy your lens again, it'll be like Carmen, and you focus on 35s, 55s, and 85s. So, take inspiration.
Focus on one lens.
Exactly, right? So necessity is the mother of all invention anyway. So, you just have to sort of roll with it. And what's important is you think of it as it's a temporary situation. And if you need help, you have so many people you can reach out to. Carmen, let me ask you, if I was an emerging photographer or I was in a sort of rut, are you open to people like messaging you on Instagram, asking you questions about your work,
definitely
tips and everything? So yeah, you're open to that
Feel
as well.
free to message me.
Okay, so that is good. So we're all here for you guys. And message Paco, actually. Very responsive. Miguel and Sunny, message Miguel when the time is right. He will reply. Okay.
Yeah, feel free to message me anytime. I'd be happy to help.
You right?
Like,
Okay.
I don't know, banana bread tips.
It's therapeutic, no? The baking thing. It's very therapeutic, right? And
also watching plants grow. I think that's therapeutic.
Oh, you're a plant mommy. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so there you go. Also, trying things out laterally, like what Carmen is doing, which is product photography, is actually not a step back. No, it's not a step away from your goal. In fact, I'm sure, Carmen, while you're doing these things, product photography, are you picking up new things that you could probably, translate into your portrait or your documentary video
For
photography?
sure.
Are you learning something?
I've actually, because I normally shoot with natural light.
Right.
So since it's product shoots, I am now learning to use my light again.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, so that's one good thing that came out.
So normally you wouldn't have done that if not for what we have, right? The situation that we're in right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think adapting to the environment is really important. At least that's what travel has taught me.
Okay, and that's what we should all learn, diba? So yes, that helps. I'm a wildlife photographer, and I also use natural light as much as I can, except for underwater. But when I had to do portrait and food, I had to learn how to use lights also, and I sort of tried to adapt that and bring that to wildlife photography. And it allows you to grow even more in terms of a skill set. So guys, don't fret. It's okay to feel bad. That's what Carmen's saying. And it's okay that if you're not productive or not motivated, just hang in there. The community's here. We have shows like this one, and you can reach out to us on Instagram. So don't fret. Don't lose hope. We'll have a chance to pursue our passion soon. Just like, I'm sure Carmen and I are itching to go out right now. So, diba, to go on our own work. Okay, so with that,
I'm itching to go home.
there you go. Okay, so with that, we'll take on this last video. Before anything else, no, this is Tara Abrina. So she was instrumental to me passing my AIDA 2 freediving class, right? So I couldn't make it to 16 meters, and
I have yet to take the class with her.
You should. So she was my safety diver / wing woman, and she took me down to 16 meters and allowed me to make it. And she is also an amazing marine scientist. So
she's amazing.
Tell us about this video.
So first of all, I love working with Tara. We got close after working together with the Grid Expedition 2.
Okay.
And ever since then, we've just always been in touch and keeping each other sane, I guess, also during this time.
Okay.
This video is actually, I'd say, like, it's more of like an art film that that inspired us from the actual Grid Expedition 2. This is one of, I guess it's like an offshoot to the Grid Expedition 2 video.
Right. Okay, cool.
And so it's a sub-story of Tara and why she does what she does, why she loves freediving. And this was shot in Siquijor around sundown. I have to say I love shooting even after the sun has set because the colors are just beautiful. And the underwater footage that you'll see in this video is shot by Paco.
By Paco. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sige. So, let's see the video.
A lot of factor of this sport simplicity.
A
lot of freedivers would say that it helps them
freediver
discover
teacher,
themselves or their
mermaid
pushing
extraordinaire.
their limits.
Yeah, she is.
The very nature of this sport is its
So this
simplicity.
video,
But
this was
no
not
matter
any
how
assignment. It was just
bold
a
you are,
passion project.
You are still insignificant.
Which eventually got featured in one of the Grid
With
articles by
freediving,
Tara as
You're
well.
alive without
Okay.
breathing.
And
that is a miracle
It's
in
basically
itself.
her setting off. It's her practice
For me,
before
it's
she
my
goes
connection to
into the
nature.
water,
And also the silence, the stillness.
which is actually a breathing
It's one of the
exercise.
last
Which
few
fits into what
places
you were
on
saying
Earth
initially.
that you can get that. You could have made the record dive of a lifetime, but the sea will still spit you out
Oh, okay.
unimpressed and far more limitless.
I'll say it again, na lang.
And in this way, she humbles me.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's amazing. So is that video available on YouTube?
Yes, it's also up on the Grid YouTube page.
Okay, that's cool.
And so, yeah.
Wow, great
I hope
body of
Tara's
work, huh?
watching. I hope you're there,
Yeah, I
Tara.
hope Tara, your star is here. Okay, from
Yeah.
Dian Grace Bugay. I honestly watch this every time I feel sad. I'm not even kidding. So ha 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 hi. Carmen and
Wow.
Tara.
Hi, Dan.
Okay, and then from Tara Delarama, feed me man, haha, I like banana bread. Okay. I also, and she said also, Diane, I I loved what Tara said sa dulo. Excuse me. There you go. From Lorraine Santos, I miss the ocean, I miss free diving. Hoping to work with you guys when this pandemic is over. Wow.
So Lorraine's an awesome editor, and she shoots underwater as well. Woo! Hi,
Wow.
Lorraine.
Hey, Tara's here. Hi, Tara.
Hey, Tara.
Hi, Tara. So I'm not sure if you were here, kanina, Tara. I was telling them that you were instrumental to me passing my IDA too. So that was really awesome. And yeah, she's so calm kasi, diba? So it kind of, transferred onto me. So I was able to do the stuff that I needed to do. So yeah, it's great that you're here, Tara. From Mabel, stunning film of Tara. Was able to buddy up with her in freediving several times. How she blinks
nice.
her eyes inside the Mac is so cinematic. I love watching how she does that. Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Tara's a big inspiration for us all.
So you haven't taken up freediving yet?
Not yet.
Okay, well, Tara.
But apparently the free diving I know all my life has been wrong.
Okay. Tara and I worked on an assignment for Greenpeace. I forgot. We went to Nasugbu and then we went to Anilao also, and we were working on, I think it was climate change. No, Tara, I can't remember, but that was so much fun. I hope we can work on something again to Tara and with the rest of the Grid crew. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. So guys, if you haven't yet, please do like this video. The reason why I'm asking you guys to like it, it's not for anything, but these videos that I've been having, this is I think episode 18. These are archived on YouTube, so it's there. You can replay it, and I think more people would get to watch it if people liked it more. So the YouTube's algorithm picks it up and pushes it up, and more people get to see what Carmen has been able to do and what she has said recently. So please do like this video, and then for more videos like this one, like behind the shot, please subscribe as well. And of course, head on over to Carmen's Instagram, Carmen del Prado, and take a look there of her work and follow her. Carmen, do you have Vimeo? Do you have YouTube as well? Plug it in.
I have YouTube, yes. YouTube, but I'm mostly, actually my website's the most complete, which is just carmendelprado.com, yeah.
carmendelprado.com. Okay, there you have it, guys. So check it out. Follow her. Subscribe to her on YouTube as well. Carmen, do you have any parting words for people who are watching? Tara, Sally, Mabel, Diane. Wow, so many
Thanks
people
so much, guys, for watching. And thank you to Noel as well for doing this. It's been really fun. It's actually one of my first live interviews online.
Oh, you did great. So you weren't nervous now. So that's great. Diba? That's perfect.
Yeah.
So when's your next trip, Carmen?
I guess
Going home.
The most realistic next trip would be trying to go home.
Right. Okay.
And I'm hoping, to hang out with Sally and Doc Ali soon. And my family, of course.
That's right. Say hi to them for me when you see them.
Will do. And maybe, Noel, maybe we'll get to work together in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Sana if everyone can come together and do something, Grid, Lamave, everything. And so from Mabel, sorry to follow up. Great episode featuring Carmen. I wish I can have her right hemisphere of the brain. I hope that didn't sound zombie kind of creepy, but She took it well, Mabel. Sally Snow, great session. Loving the series, Noel. And thanks, Carmen, for all the insights and inspiration.
Thank you, Sally, for watching.
Diba?
Thank you,
Cool.
Mabel.
All right. So, guys, so Carmen, I will say bye to you now. Stay on our Zoom conversation. I'll just close the show and I'll come back to you. Guys, don't go yet. I will show you what we have for next week a bit more. Carmen, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Noel.
All right, guys. So that wraps up our week for Grid, for travel and adventure. And it's been great. We've been living vicariously, like I said, I always say, through the guys in Grid. So I am sorry that I wasn't able to illustrate and explain what Grid is all about. So they're a group of really creative, talented, and adventurous guys who take on these stories about people's places, and it's because of where they go, it becomes a travel and adventure magazine. So I have one right here, which is great, and the guys behind this, Paco, Miguel, and Sunny, are here in the discussion. So actually, if you had questions about Grid, you could have asked them straight out. So amazing people, really nice. I'm saying it out loud. So yes, amazing people. So guys, for next week, again, I will go through it. We have an amazing lineup for next week. Cinematographers, directors, and producers. So we are partnering up with Lupuan ng Pilipinong Cinematographer, with Pong Ignacio, Take Lamore, and Dan Villegas. It's an amazing show. And Pong, who is a very good friend of mine, is heading up the week with his work on General Luna, and Goyo, and also Liwai with Liza de Castro. So that's amazing. We're gonna shift a bit away from adventure and everything that is spontaneous and go to something a bit more structured when it comes to narratives. And I want to see it will be great to see their perspective. So these are very attuned. These guys are very visually attuned, and and even Tay, her work on the Star Wars and the Kingmaker documentary, and also Dan Villegas, who has been shooting, filming, Jenny Mercado, Tito Eddie Garcia, him and Tonette Hadaone. They have an excellent body of work, but for now we will have Dan, and he has so much to say and share with us for next week. Then after that, we have Shaira Luna, Artu Nepomuceno, and Jason Kibilan with his portrait that I really want him to show of Duterte way back when. And Artu, if you are not familiar, Artu is the portrait photographer for Esquire. He shot the photos of portraits of Isko and of Vico Soto, and oh my god, I forgot the last one. But yes, he is known for that, and it's going to be amazing. So thank you guys for watching Grid. I also would like to ask you to visit my Instagram, Noel Guevara Photo, and if you have time, you like what you see, sharks, polar bears, dolphins, everything, and the amazing people who look after them, like Sally, please watch, and please follow and subscribe. From Miguel, Paco, where do we go? Mindanao, para we have Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao na. From Sally Snow, Paco, we do have the team, just need Amihan to come back and COVID to go. Hashtag Expedition Shark 2021. Thank you guys for Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Monday with Pong Ignacio. Again, this is Behind the Shot, Noel Guevara. See you. Bye.